He's a metaphysician. He's a master herbalist, and also we're going to talk about holistic living. Dr. B, welcome back to WOL Radio.
Good day, good day. How are you?
Not good after hearing that conversation with these brothers, man. That this thing happened in 2010, the BP oil spill, and they're still feeling the effects. Actually, not feeling; they're reeling from it. A lot of them have health challenges, and now they're seeing this flesh-eating bacteria showing up in nearby Mobile. I think 3 or 4 people came down with it. As a metaphysician, as a herbalist, what would you say if they came to you and said, "Dr. B, this flesh-eating bacteria is attacking my skin"? What do I do?
Well, the flesh-eating bacteria has been around for a very long time. It's a parasite. It lives in animals. This is where it comes from. It lives in the tissue of animals, and what it does is it necrotizes, which means to rip and tear flesh from the inside out. It's not necessarily in the skin, it's deep in the muscle tissue. And when we consume foods like the animal products that we're consuming, the eggs and the larvae are already in the flesh. What happens is it comes online, it awakens, it comes out of what they call a quiescent state when there is trauma to the immune system. What happened in the Gulf created trauma to the immune system of all the people of the area. It changed the frequency and the resonance of the water. Whenever something happens like this, an environmental, catastrophe, nature creates beings to attempt to clean up the problem. These beings, sometimes parasites, sometimes they're bacterial, sometimes they're fungal, they begin to get out of control if the situation goes on for too long. So if you have an emergency situation, right? If there's an emergency roadblock and, they're trying to fix this for months, they're slowing down the traffic of the entire, community. So this is like an emergency that has been going on since 2010, where nature has just been pouring and pouring in these life forces to try to clean it up. But the fish are dying at such a rate, the fish are mutating at such a rate, that now this disease, which actually didn't start as a disease, but now it becomes a disease, and what was there to help us actually is working against us. The flesh-eating bacteria is serious. The first person to get a documented case of flesh-eating bacteria was a man in the year of 1971. He was a black police officer in Philadelphia. And by the time they got him to the hospital, half of his body had been eaten. This thing strikes quick, and they don't have anything in modern medicine that we know of that actually can stop it once it starts. So it might start as a pimple or a black spot. And slowly, within minutes, the whole hand, let's say if it started on your hand or your finger, begins to turn black and flesh begins to fall off. It's eating the body from the inside out. So if you get to the hospital with flesh-eating bacteria, immediately they've got to cut that limb off. They can't even wait to anesthetize you. They have to cut it. And sometimes this thing is so powerful, this creature, that it jumps across the incision and eats a person sometimes down to the bones within 24 hours. Flesh-eating bacteria. Wow. It originally was a natural type of being that came about during emergencies to eat dead bodies that were laying around after catastrophes. You see? But now, if you have dead flesh in you because you're eating food that's dead, you're eating food and fish and shrimp and all these things that are infested with oil, and the chemicals that they try to use to actually break down the oil, break down the petroleum products that were in the water, those chemicals themselves are very toxic. So they're in the systems of the people who eat the food, who live in the environment around the Gulf. A lot of folks are eating this cheap, I don't know if you notice how cheap shrimp is lately. Shrimp is almost free. You know what I'm saying? You buy one shrimp, they give you a whole bag for free. Because a lot of these are coming from that area where these shrimp and the fish are not acting like normal fish. They just kind of float to the surface. You can just scoop them up. So it's easy picking. So, of course, they're in your grocery store really cheap. But a lot of them have this toxic material, these chemicals, and these bacterial and parasite agents like the flesh-eating bacteria. We are going to see more and more people popping up with flesh-eating bacteria in the next 2 years.
Now, is there anything you can do if you're diagnosed with a flesh-eating bacteria? Is it just cut it off, or is there anything at all that you can help these folks with, Dr. B?
Once you get it, you got to get to a hospital quick, and you got to let them cut. There's nothing else that you can do. This is like an alien creature that just, it necrotizes, it rips and tears everything and eats really quick. Now keep in mind, Carl, this is in most of the flesh that we're eating in America, not just from this problem in the Gulf, because all the animals are in emergency. All of these animals have been cloned. They've been hybridized, crossbred through animal husbandry. You see, they're feeding them large amounts of petrochemicals, drugs. They're drugging the animals. They're keeping the animals. They give stuff that's almost like Prozac to the cows, chickens, and pigs to keep them calm. So you don't have to worry about taking the Prozac. It's in your food. You see? So that stresses the animal out. The animals are eating food that was never meant to be food. You see? And I'm not sure why we got this concept that we should feed all the good food, the grain and everything, to the cow, and then eat the cow.
Well, hang on a sec, Dr. B. We got to take a quick break here and check the traffic and weather in the DMV. I'll let you finish your thought on the other side. Our guest is Dr. B, folks. Reach out to him at 800-450.
A lot of your detoxes, they clean the digestive tract in the lower body. These things live throughout the body, so they're systemic parasites. So you'd have to get a product or a group of products that have a high enough resonance. They have a certain frequency range that actually shuts down what they call...
Dr. B there? Hopefully we haven't lost Dr. B. I'm not hearing it. Dr. B sort of dropped out. Dr. B, hopefully you get back to us. Because a lot of issues we want to get into. As well as natural detoxification. We want to talk about the new parasitology, also mind control. Dr. B's got an expert in all these areas, folks. As I mentioned, we're just having a carryover from the first guest, Donnie. Donnie was talking about what happened at Fort Walton Beach. Just things haven't improved since the BP oil spill in 2010. In fact, he says it's gotten worse. He says, so now the flesh-eating bacteria is showing up in Mobile, Alabama. I think 3 or 4 people have come down with that. And Dr. B was telling us that basically that you may have to lose a limb. It's just hard to digest, but because it moves, that disease moves so rapidly throughout the tissue. So, and my question I asked him before we sort of lost him was if there's anything, if you can detoxify to get rid of that disease. So hopefully we'll get him back on the line real soon, and he can tell us, because he's an expert about detoxing. All the different kind of detoxification, he does them all. He can tell you about them all. We forgot an issue too that you think that you would like Dr. B to address. Reach out to us. Our number is really simple. It's 800-450-7876. Again, that's 800-450-7876. And I wanted to get in touch with Dr. when he comes back also to talk about this mind control, how that works on us, and also the music, because he was telling us basically that when the Gulf spill happened by BP in 2010, it changed the rhythmic vibrations in that entire area of the Gulf. And not only the animals, because he's talked about this before, by the way. Says when they go to slaughter animals, the animals give off a toxin. I'm not quite sure what the name of it is, but I'm sure Dr. B knows what it is. But that toxin is given off when they slaughter those animals. That toxin is in them, and then we eat those animals, and that toxin is in us. I'm not sure if it's a fear toxin, but I'll get him to explain what it is. He's mentioned it several times before. For those folks who are still eating flesh, you will understand this, because if you've seen how they slaughter the animals, you'll understand what Dr. B is talking about. But I'm not so sure about the fish, though, because people have the fish, and that's for lack of oxygen from taking them out the water, they do struggle. So it may be the same thing there. But I think Donnie earlier talked about the shrimp. He says most of these flesh-eating bacteria is found in the shrimp, because the shrimp are at the bottom of the ocean. That's where the oil spill is right now, and they put another chemical on top of it to try to break up that oil spill. So a detoxification for the people who may have been, impacted by the oil spill and may have even contracted this flesh-eating disease?
Well, it's best to do a systemic, cleanse, like a total body program. And the one that I created many years ago, we included many of the ingredients that actually arrest the flesh-eating bacteria. It takes about a 3-month period of time. And we do have that at our website at elevationtime.com, total body program. But when you're in an emergency state like this, then you might need to also add some of the mushrooms, because there are certain mushrooms that know how to notice the difference between your DNA and the DNA of something that's not human. So you've got to have something that's specific, a DNA specific product. And there's an 11 mushroom formulation that seems to do that very well. So that's part of what we now call the elevated total body program, because this flesh-eating bacteria and a whole bunch of these type parasites right now, they're really, the degree and the level that they're at right now is huge. It's everywhere, especially around the places that touch that Gulf Coast. But your meat and dairy products and a lot of your foods and seafoods, a lot of them come from that area, and they ship them all over the country. This is why I'm telling folks, just cooking your meat is not good enough, because some of these parasites can withstand 1,500 degrees, Fahrenheit. Your stove doesn't go that high, so you can't cook it out. Another thing is definitely don't go in the water. Do not go in the water around the Gulf. And, if you've got cuts, you've got, even acne, skin issues, if you've got immune issues, you don't touch that water. I would never eat a shrimp, a squid, anything that crawls on the bottom, because those are arthropods. Arthropods are roaches. They eat trash. They're trash eaters. They live at the bottom. Any of the bottom feeders are going to pick up all the poison that's coming down. So that's where the petrochemicals, the original oil is at, and also the chemicals that they use to try to break it up into smaller particles. So now it's just smaller particles of the same chemical, you see. And these animals are eating it, and then we eat the animals, and that's how we get it. This is a serious parasite issue. Necrotizing fasciitis, also known as flesh-eating bacteria, but that's only one. We're only mentioning one, because if they've got flesh-eating bacteria, they've also got tapeworm, they've got whipworm, and they've got fluke worms. They all hang out together. Now, people may be being able to test for the flesh-eating bacteria, but some of these you can't test for because they're very elusive. But they work in a family, you see. So the first thing we got to do is clean the body out, detoxify the liver, kidneys, and spleen, and boost the immune system. The first way, the quickest, easiest way you can do this is stop eating animal products, anything from animals, because they weaken the immune system. That's the first thing. Start drinking lemon and water, Then begin to use, there is a couple of greens that you could eat, mustard greens. Very good for helping to sweep the system and boost the immune system. Watercress, a very good herb, which you can buy in most of your salad bars or your places where they sell salads. Very detoxifying for the liver, the kidneys, and the spleen. You see, start there. And if you'd like to go into the deep level and just, sweep this stuff out of the body, that's when you look at the total body program, or the elevated total body program that we have on the website. Now, I'm asked this.
Well, let me over here and ask you this, Dr. B. The parasites, do they ever get on the vegetables as well? As vegetarians, should we be concerned about parasites?
Parasites are everywhere. That's one of the #1 life forces on the planet. So parasites are in everything. See, but the flesh-eating parasites, or the ones that reside in flesh, are some of the worst, you see. So, yes, vegetables, I don't care if you're a vegan, you're a vegetarian, if you're eating food, you're going to get parasites, you see. So everyone, technically, we used to do cleanses every time the seasons changed. We used to do a parasite cleanse, a detoxification. This was our culture. This is how we survive. This keeps you intelligent, it keeps you on, it keeps you focused, it keeps you clear, and it keeps you healthy, you see, by detoxing when the seasons change. So we just went through a season change. This is the time to be cleansing, because the parasites that existed for spring are now sleeping. Some of them go into what they call a quiescent state, or they hibernate. So now we have the parasites that are here for summer, and you got the other ones that you didn't sweep out. Your immune system is working around the clock to try to fight these. These are like invisible guests, and almost everybody has them. You touch the railing at the grocery store, and you shook somebody's hand. You're going to get parasites if you live on the planet. And unfortunately, a lot of the parasite cleansers out there, they deal only with the digestive tract. Those parasites are not hard to get rid of. You could eat papaya and eat the seeds and all, and get rid of most of your parasites that are in your digestive tract. Even pumpkin seed, diatomaceous earth. Those are great for intestinal parasites, but the systemic ones are more challenging to rid your body of, and you have to do it in a certain rhythm because these parasites are very intelligent. They communicate, and they know how to duplicate and multiply very, very quickly. So they're throughout the body. Yes, vegans, vegetarian, raw foodists. If you're eating food or breathing air, you're going to have parasites.
Now, you turn me on to a green. I think it's callaloo. And
Callaloo.
Yeah, tell the audience about it, because that's real good.
Callaloo is one of the most nutritious greens. It's actually known as amaranth. Amaranth. They make amaranth grain, and they have amaranth greens. A lot of the West Indian stores, they're going to have it starting from spring until fall. It has so many nutrients. It's really incredible. It has very deep roots, and it is very alkalizing to the system. And this was a food that people ate throughout South America for many years. And what's interesting, there's two ways that the Spanish took over South America and the Caribbean. One, we'll get into that one second. I want to hit this one first. The second way, they realized how many people were eating the amaranth, and they were using it as their main source of nutrition. So they began to destroy all the amaranth. And when they destroyed the amaranth, it took the people out. The people no longer had their power because you took their food. That's the art of war, is to control the food supply. So that was part of what they did. The other piece, Carl, which is interesting, if you look at history.
Actually, hold that part for a second here. We got to take a quick break. I'll let you finish on the other side. Folks, you too can join our discussion with Doctah B. Reach out to us on FM 95.9 and AM 1450. WOL, where information is power. Number to call to speak to Doctah B, 800-450-7876. I'm guarantee you're going to hear some stuff you never heard before. Doctah B, I'm going to let you finish up what you were saying before we left for the break.
So, Carl, from your understanding, how do you think the Caucasian took over the world? What do you think the one factor that they had that allowed them to do the conquesting that they did?
They instill fear in everybody.
This is very interesting. When you really realize what happened, it's amazing. They were on boats, and they lived with animals. Chickens, pigs, especially pigs, goats. They're the only group of people on the planet that live with animals in such a way. Of course, in South America, they had llama, but they didn't live with the llama. In Africa, they had certain cows, but they didn't live in such a way with animals, especially like pigs. When they came to South America, when they touched down on the shore, they brought germs. That began to hit the people exponentially. And when they actually met people, the people were already sick because these germs had been introduced to a people that had no immunity against the germs or the parasites that lived in animals. They never even, they never were around people that lived with pigs. This is deep. There is a very good documentary. It's called Guns, Germs, and Steel. There's actually a book. It's from a book. Guns, Germs, and Steel. One of my, professors, one of my people who was a professor at UCLA, He has this book, and he did this documentary. It's a National Geographic, and he wanted to know, and he's a Caucasian guy, he wanted to know how did these people who didn't have all the abilities everybody else had take over the world. We think it was their cunning, their fear. No, it was germs. They carried germs that nobody had. And the people were already weakened. Then they used swords, steel, to kill the few people that were left. Then also they came later with guns, like Gatling guns and things like that, and took over. But it was the germs, it was the parasites, it was the worms. Still to this day, they use germ warfare on people.
Now, back up for a second. Back then, Doctah B, did they know what they were doing, or they just sort of stumbled on it?
They didn't know. They had no idea. They didn't know why the people were dying. But when they figured it out, they went back and brought back blankets. You hear about these stories. They gave the native people blankets. Give them a little liquor, some blankets, and some trinkets. The people took it. They had no idea. And they began to die. This is every single where, every place they went on the planet. And they came across these indigenous people. They were not the greatest fighters. They were not the best cunning people. That's not what happened. The germs they carried. So now, 2017, what's the number one thing working against us in our challenge to get back on top? Germs. You could say, okay, well, no, it's racism. When you study science and become non-emotional and just look at data, it's the illness, the germs that come from animals. If it's the flu, that's the rhinovirus. I mean, almost all this stuff that we get comes from animals. See, parasites and germs, they either cause most of the illnesses or they live in the body tissues, right, that is already affected, and it keeps it from healing. This is parasites, considered germs, bacteria, roundworms, flatworms, leishmaniasin, whipworm, there's so many of them, fluke worm. These parasites didn't affect us because our immune system was only dealing with the things that were in our environment. When something came in our environment that our immune system could not deal with, we became sick and weakened. The number one killer. So,
Doctah B, let me interrupt you. Does that include folks now who have pets? They've got cats and dogs at home? Are you saying that they should get rid of them?
No, it's too late. You can't. We've already got this stuff. It's in us already. Right now, everybody basically has everything in them. It's just not active until you come across some trauma, something happens. Your immune system becomes weak, or you have an accident, or you eat some poison food. Then some of these parasites that are in a quiescent or a latent state, which are in cysts and eggs in our body, they wake up. If you're emotionally stressed, certain bugs wake up. Heartworms from dogs. The number one killer of human beings on the planet is a parasite called toxoplasma. You see, we thought it was, malaria for a long time. They said malaria has killed more people than all the people that have died on the planet. Malaria. But we didn't used to get malaria because we had sickle cell trait. The sickle cell trait was somehow what disorganized the malarial larva. That was something we had to protect us. But when the Caucasian people came, they brought these other bugs that interrupted our natural immunity because our bodies didn't recognize it. So now it's in all of us. We all have this. That's why it's important to be cleansing every time the seasons change. I'm not saying get rid of your dog and your cat. It's too late. And you don't even have to have a dog and a cat. Somebody in the neighborhood's got a dog and a cat. You've been around dogs and cats. You moved in a house where used to be dogs and cats. You walked on a lawn outside where there used to be dogs, chickens, pigs, cows, goats. We already had it. It is now boosting our immunity to the point where our immune system can fight these things or keep them at bay or keep them in what they call a quiescent state so they don't awaken. Let's go back to toxoplasma. Starts out in the belly of cats. There's more cats probably than almost any domestic pet. Cats everywhere. And what it does is in the feces of the cat, which is why when you buy kitty litter, it says right on the bag that you need to wear a mask and a gloves or whatever when, working with the kitty litter because it's got toxoplasma in it. Because everybody knows that cats have toxoplasma. The toxoplasma in the kitty litter, right, gets into the dust particles of the house. And you're breathing them in. It's in your environment. Now, you don't have to have a cat anymore because this parasite now is throughout the community, and they say 70% of the people who are tested for toxo have it. 70%. These are people that never had a cat or a dog. Because it moves exponentially. It takes over. It is an actual creature, but now they're saying it is so intelligent that it's alien. And that 6,000 years ago, they believe that when these, because something happened on the planet 6,000 years ago, things landed in the woods, 6,000 years ago. Let's say it was some aliens or some creatures or with some, space dust or whatever, or meteors. It may have carried this thing to Earth because they don't see any signs of it before 6,000 years ago. And if you notice, almost all of these sci-fi movies, something takes over the people, lives inside of them, and controls their lives. This is science fact. This parasite, see, what it does when it gets in the cat feces, mice play in cats. They eat cat feces for some reason, mice and rats. Then they eat it, and then the cat can easily catch the mouse because the mouse or the rat is not acting like a normal mouse or rat. They don't run. Their concept of fear and safety and security is all screwed up. They don't act like a regular mouse. They don't protect their lives. Because it lives in the amygdala of the brain. The amygdala is the part of your brain that controls your sense of fear, anger, how to protect yourself, when to run, when not to run, your sense of fight or flight. It's in the amygdala. If the amygdala is being controlled by toxoplasma or toxoplasmosis, then your sense of your world is way off. So what happened in Egypt? What happened? What made them fall? Well, the marauders, the conquerors came. No. They brought animals. Cats came. Cats were very worshipped, from what I understand, in Kemet. All of a sudden, the people begin to lose something. Almost every society that has fallen, they say, has fallen because of toxoplasma. It's like the plague. The plague is from rats. They always talk about this plague from rats. And there is certain parasites that live in rats and mice. This one lives in rats and mice too, but this one is intelligent and controls the people. Some of the symptoms of toxoplasma. You're angry and you never find peace. You are afraid of things that cannot even harm you, that you have no facts for. And things that you need to be doing to protect yourself, you don't do. You like drama. You're stressed out. You're always talking about some struggle, some fight, and you cannot forget about the past. You wake up in the morning and you start remembering the past, and you live that day stressed out about what happened in the past. That's not natural. I'm not saying that we should forget what happened to us, but when that is at the forefront and you're not working on a solution, that is one of the symptoms of toxoplasma.
All right, hold that thought right there. We got to check the traffic. I'll let you finish on the other side. We got some people who want to speak to you. Folks, you too can join the conversation. 800-450-7876 to speak to Doctah B on FM 95.
It's subtle at first. I'm on the freeway a lot, and most freeways have a sign that tell you how many people were killed in car accidents since the beginning of the year. Did you know that the ambulance drivers know about this parasite? So if a person's been in a car accident and if it was a speeding accident, most likely this may have been toxoplasma. Speeding is a big symptom You got to go, go, go. I'm rushing, not taking your time, not realizing your rhythm. Your rhythm is off. You're moving too fast. Another one, staring at the cell phone causes you to have an aptitude issue, which changes your attitude and your altitude. When they were testing people for this parasite, they did a lot of experiments. This is big. They noticed that people with this parasite could not do without their social media and their cell phone for very long. They couldn't remember phone numbers of loved ones, even their mother and father, without punching it up. Think about this. When did this happen? That all of a sudden, without that cell phone, you don't know anything. You don't know how to get places. People can't read an old school map anymore. You know? What happened where it's like the social media gods and the internet gods have taken over? This parasite gets you to rely on things that are not reliable. It gets you to focus on things that cause you to be more domesticated. Carl, did you know that the farmers, I was talking to this farmer, did you know that the farmers have known about this parasite a long time ago? And they knew that it was in the slot where they feed the animal. Why? It keeps the cows, chickens, pigs, and goats from running away. They will just stay on the farm, Carl. Persons, people, animals, and things with this parasite don't really try to get away. They'll act like it. They don't protect themselves. They talk about the problem over and over. The problem, the problem, the problem, the past, the past, the past. How much activity do you see? Somebody said that when I was listening to, earlier when you had another guest on. It's action that changes things. Not just being angry, using your anger or your concepts or your studies, your research to actually change things. Only a small group of people are going to do anything. Most folks are just going to talk and get mad and gossip. Who's going to really do anything? What happened when we have this society where folks talk a lot and do very little? Toxoplasma causes that in people. It causes you to be domesticated. That means there's a dome over. Yeah, you got a lot of knowledge, you read a lot of books, you know a lot of stuff, but what are you doing? It also causes you to spend money, energy, and time in places that it doesn't grow. It keeps you in a place where you're just barely making it, and it uses as a serum for its food your stress. Your stress is its food. This is an alien creature, and it has taken over almost every society. And I started studying this, when I was working with Dr. Ando years ago. He mentioned that there was one parasite that I was going to meet. And when you meet this one, Dr. B, you will understand why you do what you do. And he said, you can't just get rid of it with herbs. You need certain sound frequencies that disrupts its communication factors. You need certain essential oils that irritates its tissue. You need flower essences because flower essences electrically connect you to source energy. You need certain herbs in a certain sequence so that you break up its mating cycle, its feeding cycle. Toxoplasma. And I tell folks, please do not follow anybody. Go do your own research. Look it up. Just punch it up right now on the internet. Number one killer of human beings on the planet. The number one thing that keeps people down. It keeps you repressed. It keeps you fighting. It keeps you talking about your enemy so much that you give your enemy power. You keep talking about who's supreme. You got to become supreme, cream of the crop. Don't worry about what your neighbor is doing. What are you doing in your own house? Are you cleaning up your home? How come so many of us talk this talk, but our own homes are in disarray? The chemicals that we use in our homes. Why would you choose to use something that on the can it says it kills mice, it kills rats, it kills roaches, it kills everything, and you're using it as a cleaner because it was on sale? What mindset? What's causing that? Well, it was only 99 cents. Wow, it was 99 cents, so you'll poison yourself for 99 cents because you got a poverty mindset. You see, so all of these things, when you put them all together, you put the data together, this is a symptom of a occupation by entity I'm talking about now is toxoplasma, but there's about 20 different parasites that are now being studied with what they call neuroparasitology. Great book everybody should read right now is Your Brain. This is Your Brain on Parasites. They go down the list and talk about all these parasites that are controlling the thought and the disease levels of people.
Dr. B, before we get into that, we got a bunch of folks holding for a while. I want to speak to you from all across the country. 800-450-7876 to join the discussion with Dr. B. Let's go to Chicago. Ken's calling us. He's on line 1. Ken, you're on with Dr. B.
Hi, Carl. Thank you for taking my call. Dr. B, earlier after Carl's discussion with the brothers from Florida, you were describing necrotizing fasciitis, flesh-eating bacteria. And as I was listening to you, I realized, you know, there's similarities in this thing they call MRSA. Would you say that you were describing the very same thing? Because MRSA has been described as a flesh-eating bacteria, but more so acquired from hospitals. And I was wondering, are there any strong similarities? Are we just talking the same thing here?
Well, they're from the same classification of parasites. They're different. You see,
okay.
MRSA is a thing that, from what I'm reading in the data, it changes the way it looks constantly. It mutates. So think about all the things they've used in hospitals to kill germs. Think about how the people in the hospitals that are washing your sheet also work in the morgue. You know, the air conditioning that's blowing through your room is blowing through every room. Every room in the hospital is getting the same air. So these particles, these things, these creatures are being blown around. So you have these, resistant staph infections that people are getting in hospitals. Now, one of the things I used to do, like in Germany and France, I don't know if they still do it, they would put essential oil of lavender in diffusers in the air conditioning. They also would spray a little lavender inside the incisions when they operated on people, because that lavender, which is a broadband natural antibiotic, you don't put it in your body, you put it on your body, or you diffuse it in the air. You could put one drop of that in an Olympic swimming pool and detect it in the entire pool in 5 seconds. That's how powerful it is if you get the organic version. They used to use this in hospitals, and they used to use special lights and everything. I mean, they're using fluorescent light. Fluorescent lights, all of these things right now are causing problems because these parasites, these bugs, these bacteria, and these funguses are mutating. But MRSA is a little different than the flesh-eating bacteria, but it has a lot of the same activity.
Okay. So, though it may be called a flesh-eating bacteria, it is different than what we originally were discussing.
The one we're discussing right now that's big down in the Gulf is the necrotizing fasciitis. Fasciitis.
This is why I had to call in. I have a son who played basketball at the University of North Carolina, Asheville, back in 2008. 7 feet 8 inches tall, okay? Had his career planned out for him. He was getting ready to hit the NBA circuit in 2009 in the draft, first round. It never happened. He went to a big man camp out in Las Vegas. Prior to that big man camp, though, he had surgery on his knee, okay? By the time he got through with the surgery and went to go do the camp, he couldn't do the camp completely well because he was having a problem in his foot. Come to find out, long story short, when we got him back to the hospital here in Chicago, they said it was necrotizing fasciitis. Foot was turning black and all of that. The only thing that I could think of was that he had surgery prior to that at the hospital up in North Carolina. That was the only way that something like MRSA could have gotten in. So the characteristics are the same. When you say necrotizing fasciitis, that's what they call that.
See, these are all related. And when you start getting into the data, there's different theories. Nobody knows for sure. Nobody knows anything for sure. But they're so related that some people will call it this, some people will call it that, but they're all related. Years ago, I was looking to buy a house, and I noticed the houses near hospitals were cheap. The price would drop by like $50,000. It's like, what? Why are the houses near hospitals so cheap? Because they found out 3 blocks from most hospitals, there is staph, MRSA, flesh-eating bacteria, and a whole host of parasites, germs, and funguses that have mutated in that hospital. And they've moved out to the community. That was deep. I mean, I could get a good deal on a house, It comes with flesh-eating bacteria. Come on.
I see. Yeah.
So, you know, I won't move in a place that's near a hospital or downstream, you know, on a river. You got to be very careful because these bugs, they live in certain places. Once you understand the characteristics of the bug, you actually can protect yourself from it. But yes, incisions in the hospital, when they open you up, you're open to the environment. If this is in the environment, it gets in the wound. You know, I've had several family members, including my mother, who every time she went to the hospital, she would get sicker than what, you know, she went for one thing and come out with three things. So we have to be very careful. So this is why I don't run to the hospital for everything. Unless it's a terrible emergency, I'm not going to go there. This is my choice. But I'm also going to eat a certain way to keep my immune system, you know, strong. I'm going to hang around with a certain group of people. You know, you got folks now, like a lot of the youth. You know, they passing around the joint or whatever they smoking or whatever they doing, passing the beer. I'm like, do y'all have any idea what you're passing? If you look at the activity of the youth, a lot of that are these parasites living in the brain. You're talking about what the youth need to do, what they need to do. What you need to do as a parent is clean your family up and do the things that we used to do as mothers and fathers to keep the children safe by feeding them a certain way, by taking care of them a certain way, and stop letting them do whatever they want to do. Because you start young now. You give them a phone and a game so they'll keep out of your hair. And what's happening is these bugs, these things are controlling people. These are very intelligent alien creatures. I happen to be at the right place at the right time to pick up a lot of information and begin to work on how to create formulas and formulations that actually would eradicate or reduce the power of these parasites. This is my...
Right. Hold that thought right there, Dr. B. We got to take a quick break and let our stations identify themselves at the top of the hour. Ken, I thank you for your call. 800-450. And thanks for staying with us, folks. Our guest is Dr. B on this hump day. The number to call to speak to Dr. B, 800-450-7876. And I know you're going to be in the Atlanta area real soon and some other spots as well, so maybe later on you can tell us. But I'm going to let you finish what you were saying before we left for the break at the top of the hour. And then we got a bunch of folks who want to speak to you, Dr. B.
You see, as an ancient people, we knew how to deal with our environment. We were very aware, because that was the only way you could survive in the forest, you know, in the villages. You protected yourself, you know. And we kind of left some of that behind when we began to accept this new way of living, this new modern way of living, you know. And that has set us back because our health is affected, because your health, your body, the vibrational rate of your body, right, is based on what you're eating, what practices you're involved with, how you live, you know, your whole vibrational state, what you do, your rhythm, your song. We're like DJs. Well, what record are you going to play today? You know, people get stressed out so quickly about things that they don't have any actual facts for. When there are some things in your life today that you need to be working on to make you a better person. But what happens where people are so angry and so stressed out about everything, we keep talking about how things are getting worse. They were saying the same thing in the 60s, same thing in the 70s. It was getting worse. It was always the end of the world. And, oh, boy, it's always, you know, something bad. We don't focus on what is good sometimes. What is good? We're here. We have a chance to change things. You have that chance. If you have a creature in your head that keeps you stuck on stupid, stuck on eating food that's eating you, reducing your consciousness, playing with your aptitude, your attitude, and your altitude, then we lose. So my job is to bring this information forward that we've got something in our head, not only in our bodies, that actually is keeping us in this position. And it's not what we call the enemy. This is something that is in you.
All right, hold that thought right there. We got a bunch of folks holding for you, Dr. B. 800-450-7876. Let's go to Dale City, Virginia. William's waiting for us on line 4. William, you're on with Dr. B.
Hey there, Dr. B.
Good day.
Trying to get away from salt and sodium, and I just trying to find a liquid that I can drink. Now I can drink plenty of water. Like ginseng, is that good for
understanding what you're saying. Say that once again.
I'm weaning myself away from sodium, a lot of salt and chips and all that stuff, and I've been drinking more water now. And I was wondering if some kind of liquid drink that I can buy over the counter, make it like a ginseng or something that's good for cleaning.
Well, I don't know of a great drink that you could drink that's good for cleaning. And we should be careful with salt. Salt is not the enemy. It's the type of salt. See, sea salt is not only sodium, but it has other minerals that support a balance, a spectrum of minerals, so that they control the sodium. It's the table white salt that comes to this mind from like Utah. That is the problem with salt. Okay? And the other thing you mentioned was salt, and you were weaning yourself off what?
Yeah, everything I did on salt. I've been starting to drink a lot of ginseng. I was wondering that, it's a good cleaning and
you saying ginseng?
Yes, the fruit that I boil it and let it die down and drink it.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what.
Yeah, he says he's trying to wean himself off I guess, sodium products, Doctor B, and he was saying he's replacing with ginseng and drinking water. So he wants some help, some advice. What else can he do?
Yeah, I would be looking at getting a good cleansing the body. Now, you mentioned potato chips. One thing about potato chips and foods that are fried really quickly like that, and meat that is fried really quickly, it creates something called acrylamide. Acrylamide is like an acrylic. It's like fingernail polish. It gets stuck in your tissues. So you can drink all the water you like, and you're not going to melt that. You have to have something that has resin, that has the properties, what they call enzymatic properties, to eat that away. So that's enzyme. So I would start with things like ginger. If you make like ginger water, you could just take ginger, take a half an inch of ginger, put it in like a big blender, fill it up with water, and blend that and drink it. That will help. Those kind of enzymes, live foods will help with that. So if I was to replace my drink, I would go with like a ginger drink. Also hibiscus. You can buy hibiscus flowers and make a beautiful drink. It tastes really good too. So if those things help to boost the parts of your system that will eat some of the toxicity away.
All right, let's keep moving. 800-450-7876. Tony's in Hyattsville, Maryland, on line 5. Tony, you're on with Doctor B.
Good evening, gentlemen, and thank you for taking my call. I've been recommended for surgery to remove cataracts and also surgery for glaucoma, where they proposed to insert some stents into my eyes to lower the pressure. Dr. B, what would you recommend to address these two issues?
One, I recommend that most people put coconut oil on their eyelids before they go to sleep. Organic coconut oil, raw, because it lubricates the eye and puts an oil in the eye, because the skin of the eye is made of the same thing as the brain. It is cholesterol. You need a healthy cholesterol to help replace the drying cholesterol of the eye. You see, so you're receiving too much pressure in the eye because of that glaucoma. So one thing I've seen people do is put that on their eye, and it seems to help. The other thing is CBD oil, cannabidiol. Cannabidiol comes from the marijuana plant. It is really, really good for working on repairing the eyes. Cannabidiol. And you got to get the kind that has high milligrams, and it's up like 6, 7, 8,000, 9,000 milligrams. It's pricey. And I don't say expensive, I say expansive. But it will really help the eye, and it helps to repair the internet of the body. CBD oil, very powerful. And I can get a very high-quality CBD oil if you're interested. So you can just call me at 323-931-1212. Now, I don't know if that's going to stop your surgery, because some things only surgery can help. You see, if it goes too far. So I don't tell people don't do a surgery. But if you'd like something that's going to nutritionally boost your body's own, reparation, body reparation, there's a big one. To let your body repair itself, then you give me a call.
All right. Thanks, Tony. 800-450-7876. Go to Silver Spring, Maryland. Gail's waiting for us on line 6. Gail, you're on with Doctah B.
Yes, hello. Can you tell me whether or not you think that diabetes is from a parasite?
There are two main causes of diabetes. The eating of animal tissue is number one. The eating of animal tissue is number one. Number two, a parasite that lives in the pancreas. It's the pancreatic flukeworm. Originally lived in sheep. Like, remember I told you people started living with animals, so a lot of these things cross from the animals into people. Now, some people also have diabetes because of a viral situation. They had a virus which impaired the function of either the pancreas or the receptors for sugar, which are on the outside of every cell. So we do have a program, a protocol for people who would like to naturally heal their body from that. And for some folks, it works very well. You can give me a call, or, you know, we don't talk about that on the internet. You'd have to call me and we discuss your situation personally. 323-931-1212.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Gail. 800-450-7876. Jay's in New York on line 1. Jay, you're on with Doctah B.
Hey, Carl. Great guest. I kind of came in on the, a few minutes ago, actually, when you were talking earlier. And I said, it sounds like he was talking about what's known in religion as a jinn, jinns, J-I-N-N-S, jinns. And, it's well known, or it should be well known that individuals who are not in good contact with their spirituality, with God, they, you can tell me if I'm correct or if I'm wrong, but they tend to suffer stresses that people who are connected to God in a more healthier and see God in a more real way, they tend to, those individuals tend to almost float through those stresses that seem to really take others down. But again, it sounds like that's what it sounds like you're talking about to me. I'm not talking about the other stuff you mentioned a few minutes ago. It sounds kind of herbal based or something like that. But the stuff you were talking about 10 minutes ago, it sounds more spiritual based. And, I definitely agree with that because individuals who don't see God correctly, it is like the results are like parasitic, so I agree with you. My question is, am I correct on that assumption there?
I'll tell you what, hang on a second, Doctah B, because we got to take our last look at the traffic and weather in the DMV, see if these 90-degree temperatures are going to drop. I'll let you respond to Jay in New York, and he's actually in Buffalo after the break. 800-450-7876, number to call, speak to Doctah B.
To anything other than the real God. That is one of the biggest no-nos that, and I'm just Jay in New York, in Buffalo, New York, but, I can tell you from personal experience that I've been through otherwise stressful situations, very stressful situations, and got through basically unscathed without a problem. And so
give him a chance to respond because we got a bunch of folks who want to talk to you. Thanks, Jay. Doctah B, you get the gist of Jay's question?
I do, and I'm going to be very careful how I move through this. A lot of people have read many books and documents about what the jinn are. Jinn, some people will say, are these evil beings, these demons. But the word jinn actually comes from genie, which comes from genes. Your gene, your body, could be affected by demons or creatures that are controlling your activities, having you act evil. The jinn could make you sin, or be like a genie and bring you all the desires that you like, depending on how you rub the bottle. The bottle is your body. You know, the genie pops out and asks you, you know, what are your 3 wishes or your 3 desires? You see, a lot of this stuff gets real touchy because when you start talking about the correct religion, the correct God, which one is the correct one? How can you refute somebody else's belief if that is what they grew up with and that is where that's what they stand with? You see, so I don't have this thing about which religion, which belief, which God is correct. What works for you? Now, if your body is full of genes and you are making choices that work against your genes, you become the demon of your own self. You become the devil of your life. And what we're attempting to do is outwit the devil. It's a great book, Outwit the Devil. It's a really good book, where your subconscious, your actions are causing you to do things that you think are correct based on culture, based on beliefs and training and politics. You think this is good, when actually this is working to create havoc in your life. Your food, when you choose food, every time you choose food, you either choose positive or negative, good or bad. You choose something that's going to feed you or something that's going to eat you. So you have to feed your body the food of the gods, which is the original food. And you've got to eat a certain way. You've got to cleanse and detoxify, as it says in many of the holy books. You know, you got to cleanse your body with hyssop, and most of these holy books are herbal books. They talk about the herbs, the cleansing, the rituals, the ceremonies. But we get caught up in the ego, and we start pointing the finger about who's right, who's wrong. Who is right are people that are living in righteous vibration with the earth. That's our mother. What are we doing that is right with the earth? And if you don't detoxify like nature does, then these jinn, right? And the other name for these things is Wetiko. Wetiko is a parasite, an energetic spiritual parasite, and there's a lot of information on it. Wetiko is Wetiko, which is like these evil parasites that take over the minds of people. The toxoplasma parasite has 2 dimensions it lives in. One is physical. The other one is energetic or spiritual, known as Wetiko. It controls societies and gets people to do nothing but be slaves for it. That, to me, is evil. So when you pick food and you pick friends and you speak, you choose out of being evil or righteous. And a lot of things that we think are righteous just may be evil.
All right, I got a question, a tweet question for you in that vein. They want to know about sage. I guess it's burning that sage to get rid of those evil spirits or negative energy in your home or office or in your car. Is there any truth to that, using sage?
Sage scientifically does ionize the air. It cleans the air. But most people are burning too much sage and using the wrong sage. You see, it's got to be white sage. You only use a very little bit of it. I was doing a lecture one time, and they were burning so much sage, Carl, I had to leave. I said, I'm choking, I'm coughing, I can't even speak. Oh, no, we need the sage. We overuse things. We use things in a way we haven't been trained. Now, you want to use something better than sage for cleaning the air. It's something that's called Palo Santo. Palo, which means wood, Santo, which means sacred. Oh, that stuff's incredible. In fact, a lot of the Catholic Church are using it now in South America instead of the frankincense and myrrh because it has so much power with ionizing the air, cleaning the air, and keeping your mind focused on goodness. Sage, I think today sage is kind of like most of these things we're trying to chase away know about sage. And they've mutated past sage, so I don't really even use sage anymore, except as an herb in some of my formulations.
Okay, 800-450-7876. Let's go to Fort Meade, Maryland. Vicky's waiting for us on line 4. Vicky, you're on with Doctah B.
Hi, this is Vicky. I have a couple of questions. Are you aware of a Stocky Boris virus or bacteria? And if exposed, what exactly needs to be done as far as blood work to detect that the exposure had caused? I've been exposed to Stocky Boris, and I've noticed I've had different types of skin problems and conditions.
All right, Doctah B.
This This is a very technical question that you'll have to call me on. If you can give me a call, we could discuss this. This is something I might not want to discuss over the air. 323-931-1212. And give me time to get back to you, because usually the phones are ringing like crazy. In fact, I hear them in the other room, and we could talk more about that, because that is a very touchy issue. Okay?
All right. Thanks, Vicky. 800-450-7876. Go to Texas. B's on line 5. B, you're on with Doctah B.
Hi, yes. Hi, Doctah B. Hi, Carl. I've been here. Last week, there was a guy, I think Dr. Scott Whitaker, on the show last week, and he was talking about how we should eat meat. And I know I hear you talk about a lot that we should not eat meat. So my question is, should we eat meat that has been, should we eat from animals that have been fed, has been on a vegetable diet, or should we just not eat meat at all? I guess that's where I'm kind of torn on the meat side of it and the versus vegetarian. And
okay. One thing you're going to find in the holistic community are many different points of view. Everybody has a point of view which is valid in a certain way. For what I do as a scientist, I have found that the body cannot deal with certain types of animal product today because it has been it's been mutated, it's been changed. We might be able to eat meat if we were eating raccoons, we were eating squirrels, we were eating natural animals, natural venison, maybe buffalo, maybe. But what we're eating is these domesticated animals, and once you go to the feedlot, once you begin to talk to the people, and when you go to these places, they got guards. They don't want you to see. They will shoot you for trying to get into these places where they have the animals. If they're so secret, how could it be good for you? So my point of view is that, we should stray away from things that are actually putting more stress on our bodies. Now, what's interesting is, Scott Whitaker is doing an event this weekend that I'm actually speaking at. Death by Medicine Conference 2017 is right here in Atlanta this Saturday. So, we're going to actually be on the same stage at different times. And I like I say, it's not that we disagree, it's that we all see things just a little bit differently. And if you ask the question a little deeper, we can get deeper into it. So I say, look, maybe you should eat animals, but maybe you shouldn't eat domesticated animals.
Okay. Got it.
All right. Thanks, B. 800-450-7876. Nisi is in Crofton, Maryland, on line 6. Nisi, you're on with Doctah B.
Hello, Carl Nelson, Doctah B. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, hi. I was calling because I wanted to ask a question. I've been listening to the radio station for a while, and I really enjoyed it, and I learned a lot. I'm calling because I wanted to ask a question. I am a 46-year-old woman, female, who has allergies, and I've suffered from allergies since I was a little girl. And since I've been learning about eating healthy, eating the right things, cutting out meats and stuff like that, I have been trying to do that. And I've been having a hard time because I used to...
Hang on a second, Nisi. We got to take a quick break here. I'll let you finish your question for Doctah B on the other side. Folks, you too can join the discussion. Let's go back out to Nisi in Crofton, Maryland. Nisi, your question again for Doctah B.
Okay. I was trying to ask, what is it that I can do to help my situation? I've been having a hard time trying to get healthy because I have high cholesterol and high blood pressure. Every time I try to eat, like, fruits and vegetables, if I eat it raw or do the juicing thing, I get a reaction like I throw it up. It's like I can't keep it down. Or I have a reaction to, like cherries, apples, peaches, pears. I have the itching, and then I throw it up. It's like my body rejects what's healthy. So I want to know, what is it that I can do to help my situation?
This is a symptom of toxicity, especially from parasites. The parasites will try to control your digestive tract and not let you eat things that's going to boost your immune system and clean you out. So they'll make you feel sick with things that's good for you. A lot of folks have this thing. Something's really good, they can't eat it. This is a symptom of parasites. So we have this total body paracleanse program, that's just 30 years old now. Actually, it's 25 years old now, and it's really helped people with detoxing and transitioning from eating one way to another way by dealing with the parasites, cleansing the liver, the kidneys, the spleen, balancing the hormones, and dealing with systemic parasites. Then there's another one which is called the Elevated Total Body Cleanse, which is now our #1 product. It's like a hit automatically, which we introduced here on the show not long ago. Go to our website and look at those and see if that fits, something you'd like to do, because we needed some assistance. There's some things that have to happen alchemically in the body so that your body can transition from a flesh and sugar and fat-eating diet to something that's more healthy. So go to elevationtime.com, elevationtime.com, and look around. And also for allergies, there is something called quercetin. Quercetin, Q-U-E-R, quercetin, which really helps with allergies. A lot of folks having that right now. And the skins of fruits, it's really good for allergies, but I'm sure right now you may not be able to eat them, but go look around or give me a call, and we could talk about setting up a protocol especially for you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Nisi. Good luck. 800-450-7876. Got a tweet question for you. Can you ask Dr. B, is dementia and Alzheimer's, what it says here, I just lost it. Is dementia and Alzheimer's coming from toxoplasma?
Not really. Dementia and Alzheimer's usually come from the tissue of the brain drying out. Too much of the wrong animal products, cholesterol, fat from animals, it interrupts the natural cholesterol of the brain. So one thing that we've seen that really helps is coconut oil. Taking tablespoons of raw organic coconut oil and start taking that daily, get off of all animal products. Now, if you've got a brain that's drying out, that's becoming plaque, the plaque begins to build up, and you have these parasites, then they just shut everything down, you see. So first we need to look at putting that oil in the brain by using coconut oil. And some people have started using this, and all of a sudden the dementia or the Alzheimer's is turned into something else. They say, oh, well, maybe you were just stressed out. No, it's coconut oil. You need that coconut oil. And notice that the soy companies and the canola oil companies got an all-out war on coconut oil. They keep telling people that it's poison, it's bad. This is the soy company and the canola oil. Canola oil is rapeseed oil, which actually destroys and rapes the body of all natural life. This is canola oil, which is in the health food stores, too, you see. So these oils that we've been using is olive oil that has been made rancid by sunlight. If you're eating olive oil, it should be in a total green or a dark container. If it has a funky smell, then it's rancid, it's rotten. That will go straight to the brain and dries the brain out. So animal products, no. I would move off of the animal products. I would move into a primarily vegetation-based, way of living. Cleanse, detoxify the body for at least 3 months. Coconut oil every day.
All right, 800-450-7876. Let's go to D.C. Nabuda's joining us. He's on line 3. Nabuda, you're on with Dr. B.
Yeah, Dr. B, it's good sometimes if you could just, these words, some of the good words, like Carl mentioned something was real good, but just spell it out when you get to it. Now, I want to know, the driver was very important, very intelligent. And one time he was on the show, Carl said, poison come out of one side of your breast, the milk come out of the other, a baby died, and he was sending his investigator to find out when he already knew. He said that was poison coming out. And I asked a lady who had twins. She said the twins got milk out of one side, one baby got the other, left, right. Didn't nothing happen. Second thing is, he said the foreskin of your penis, he said that when it's cut, it can grow to be the length of 3 football players. And I'm saying, well, he didn't follow up and explain that. And I said, well, if your blood is dead, and then Carl didn't say nothing. Carl asked me why I not say that. Well, somebody was ahead of me, so I couldn't ask him. So I'm just trying to find out what's this, because I'm gonna call you and I'm gonna get in your program, and then I can find out a lot of the things you're talking about now. So can you explain those two about the breast, the poison coming out of one, and the milk coming out of one, and why one baby died, and then you cut off your foreskin. Well, it's called circumcision when you're born. But you cut off the foreskin, when you become a Muslim, somebody cut it off. And it grows 3 lengths of a football. I mean, it don't even sound right. And it don't follow up to tell you, then they say you can use it for your skin, and then you can buy it, or when they cut it, you don't have to let them keep your foreskin. It just stuff sounds way out, Like heal your skin, you can put it on your skin. Can you break that down for me?
First of all, I would suggest that sometimes we take a non-emotional scientific approach to doing actual research. It has to be non-emotional. That means you're not attached to outcome. Yes, it has been studied because Dick Gregory actually did the research. He had a research team study the breast milk. And yes, there are times when a baby is on one side and there's toxins coming out of the other, so it doesn't make the baby toxic. But also the internal intelligence of the body knows when there's twins so that doesn't happen, and it excretes it a different way. And if I would get more information, I'd go directly to Dick Gregory. It's not hard to find. Number 2, when they cut the foreskin off the penis, they don't throw it away. They put it in a petri dish, and they put a certain enzyme, a certain formula in it, so that it continues to grow. And they use it for burn patients. They use it for people that need new skin. Yes, they do. This is real. It will keep growing. It's like people, we sometimes hear stuff and it sounds so far out because we didn't study it. Your teacher never told you. But this is why you're getting your foreskin cut. Why? Why else are you cutting it? Because, you heard this and you heard that. Do a little scientific research. Well, God made some mistakes. I'm trying to figure that out for the religious folks. Did God make some mistakes here when we got to change it? Where did God actually say this? I'm asking a question. I'm not making a judgment. But that foreskin is used scientifically for commerce. That skin that comes from your penis is worth a lot of money. And they keep it growing in a laboratory, and it's big. It will grow as big as a couple football fields. Listen, Henrietta Lack, they used her cancer cells from her womb. And every laboratory in the world uses Henrietta Lack cells to study cancer and all kinds of disease. They have used 1 or 2 of her cells to make cells. You couldn't even fit all these cells in the Twin Towers or the Empire State Building. How many cells they duplicated from Henrietta Lack? They didn't need blood. They need a petri dish. There is a certain environment they create to keep those cells viable. This is science.
And the sad part about that, her family didn't get any money from all of that research that was used for her cells. But we'll move on because a bunch of folks want to talk to Dr. B. 800-450-7876. Let's go to Columbus, Ohio. Michael's waiting for us on line 1. Michael, you're on with Dr. B.
Thanks for taking my call. I wanted him to explain some of the benefits of the black garlic and also to talk about the whole apple vinegar and what can you do to produce and keep a healthy prostate.
Okay, the black garlic basically is garlic that has been roasted. Now, somebody said there's an actual plant. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that research. Until I see that, I don't know. But they take garlic and they roast it, which brings up the carbon factor. And it's milder because garlic sometimes can be abrasive because it is a bit acidic, you see. So by doing this, they're changing the allicin. Allicin is the chemical in the garlic that's supposed to do a lot of the, effects of garlic. So they're changing it, and black garlic is more smooth, you see. Apple cider vinegar has a lot of malic acid and a few other acids that makes your body shift into an alkaline state. It is acidic, but it has a alkalizing effect on the body because your body switches on its alkaline, boosting or creating effect. It is great for cleaning some of the mild toxicity that you received over the night. And some people use it for weight loss and things like that. You had a third question.
The third one was how to treat and keep a healthy prostate, preventing it from getting cancer. And I'd like to elaborate a little bit more on garlic black
Well,
garlic.
hang on a sec, Michael. We got to take a quick break. I'll let you finish your thought on the other side, right here on FM 90. Let's go back to Michael in Columbus. Michael, your second question you have for Dr. B.
The second question was about the prostate and preventing it from cancer, but I wanted to elaborate on black garlic. When garlic is fermented, number one is the top of the food chain when it comes to fruits and vegetables. When it's fermented, it is now 10 times stronger in its antioxidants and its ability to fight off cancers and all types of diseases. You have to look that up. But my question again is to him about a healthy prostate.
All right. Thanks, Michael.
Okay.
Dr. B.
Also, if you put your black garlic in plastic, it becomes a toxin. I don't care what it is. You put it in plastic, it becomes a toxin. Because plastic creates what they call xenon estrogen, estrogen-mimicking chemicals. So you can eat all the black garlic in the world, put it in plastic, and that's the only way I've seen it, in little plastic containers in the store. It now is a toxin. So for the prostate, if it is receiving too much xenon or estrogenic chemicals or activities or hormones, it begins to try to protect itself. If you keep hitting the prostate with estrogen-mimicking chemicals from plastic, from styrofoam, it begins to shut down. Because this sits at the bottom of your body. All the poison, all the toxins comes down to the body. And if you don't have enough zinc, which you can get from pumpkin seeds and, eating a lot of gourds and pumpkins and things like that, if you don't have enough zinc, then the prostate can't protect itself. So there's a coating around each organ that protects it called the membrane. When the membrane has been reduced and eroded because of these activities from us taking on the xenon estrogen from plastics, then it begins to shut that thing down or cause it to begin to become inflamed and swell. So some of the things that we can do to stop this prostate issue is stop using so much plastic. Truck drivers have to walk. If you have a job where you're sitting all the time, you've got to get up and walk around and exercise the muscles around that area. Now, another thing that's really controversial that, we need to ejaculate more. Wow, what, Dr. B? Yeah. This is known scientifically. If you don't ejaculate enough, this thing is making millions and millions of sperms, your body, a day. And by using that muscle to release that built-up sperm and that what they call semen, it causes the thing to exercise, to move, to pulse. Now, I'm not saying we need to be doing this 3-4 times a day, but at least a couple times a week if possible. It becomes a health exercise. Just like any other muscle, it must be exercised. Plus, we also have to reduce our unresolved issues about the opposite sex. I keep hearing men talk about what the women ain't doing, what they doing. She's this and she's that, and it's a whole lot of judgment. That judgment goes straight towards the prostate. Same thing with women. It goes straight towards the womb. When the womb or the uterus is actually like the prostate. Actually, the prostate is actually a small version of the uterus. So the same thing with women with fibroids and all these urogenital problems. A lot of them come from the overabundance of these female hormones, actually hormone-mimicking things, xenon estrogens. You see, exercise is good. Drinking a lot of water. Almost all the animal products are causing your prostate to be inflamed. These are not the same animal products from the 60s. Do the research on that, please.
All right. 800-450-7876. Thank you, Michael. Dr. B, they want you to repeat the name of the algae medicine.
Algae? Quercetin. Quercetin. Let me spell it. Quercit. Quercetin. T-I-N. Quercitin. Quercetin, which is a concentrated the skins of fruits is where it comes from. Quercetin.
800-450-7876. Let's go to the district on line 4. Charles, you're on with Dr. B.
Hello, how you doing, Dr. B? I need to get your a brochure from you because my computer went out of whack. And number two, about me being in the armed forces, and I also listened to on W about Mark Mahanahan, right? I know I'm contaminated. I just need your brochure, and could you please give me that address and brochure so I can order your products? That's all I want to ask you for. And thank you.
All right, thanks,
Call me,
Dr. B.
Call me at 323-931-1212. That's 323-931-1212. Leave me a message. We'll have somebody call you back and send you a brochure. Now, everything we sell isn't on the brochure. So if you're dealing with the military, there's a whole other group of things we need to bring into your program. So you might want to call me because a lot of people have a larva from the sand fly who've been in the military. And they also, from what I understand, you can check with Dr. Sapolsky go to YouTube, type toxoplasma in humans. You'll see Dr. Sapolsky. He talks a bit about how the military people may have toxoplasma worse than anyone. So that may be a bigger piece of what you're dealing with also. Why some of the troops are coming home acting the way they do because of this parasite and also this other sand fly that has a larva that creates a whole other issue in people who are in the military over in the Middle East.
800-450-7876. Thank you, Charles. Let's go to Chicago, line 5. Gigi, you're on with Doctor B.
Hi. Hi, Dr. B, and hi, Carl Nelson. It's very nice to be able to get through on the line. I have a question about a remedy that I've been told to use that works. And I just wanted to find out what your thoughts were on the safety of it, and is it all right to use long term? And it's about borax, and it's how it can be used internally to cleanse the body, balance hormones, prevent arthritis, and also for men to prevent prostate cancer.
You say you're using a product?
Well, I have a remedy that was passed on to me, and it was to use borax, an eighth of a teaspoon of borax in filtered water, and drink it once a day.
I would not do this.
Yeah. Sorry.
I would not do this long term.
Okay.
After a while, this creates a environment of the body that's not healthy. You have to be very careful with some of these remedies. Some of the remedies that grandma and grandpa used to use, and these things, they actually would cause a certain level of toxicity also. So they may work for a little while. And it may deal with some things in the digestive tract, but not systemically. And actually, it could actually aggravate arthritis. I wouldn't do it. Myself personally, I don't know about the product. I don't know about the remedy, who came up with it, but I've heard of it, and I've actually had to work with people who have done some of these remedies to get them back into a balanced state of homeostasis. So, you can give me a call if you have more questions, and we have some things that, and borax sounds cheap too. It's it's like $5 for a big box. It'll wash your clothes, it'll wash your floors, and I don't know if that's something I want in my body.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Gigi. A tweet question for you, Dr. B. The tweeter uses to brush his teeth from one of those twigs. I guess you see them at the health food stores, especially the African-themed health food stores. Want to know if they're okay.
Most of those are very good. There's two different types. Most of them are very, very good. Very good for the teeth, and they kill certain types of bacteria in the mouth.
And let me ask you, since we were talking about fluoride earlier, would that be a better choice then to brush your teeth, to use those sticks?
Almost anything would be better to use than fluoride. Almost anything. Just baking soda or salt or activated charcoal.
All right.
Almost anything would be better than fluoride.
And Dr. B, where are you going to be? You said you're going to be with Dr. Whitaker?
Yes, there is the 2017 Death by Medicine, like sinning, conference happening this Saturday, and it's from 12 until 7 at the Shrine of the Black Madonna in Atlanta. You can actually go to my website, Elevation Time, and look at events, and you'll see the flyer. I'll be speaking along with some other very, very interesting, powerful people about how we can change the state of not only our health, but our economy, because if your health isn't good, your economy is not going to be good. So I'm going to be talking more about this toxoplasma. I'm also going to be talking about telomeres. And these telomeres are the parts of your genes that keep you young, that keep you healing, that keep you focused. They also, this product that I've created called Platinum Life Elixir, which is one of Dick Gregory's and a lot of people's favorite product, it not only works on telomeres, but it also decalcifies the pineal and makes you become very, very intuitive. It makes you more creative. It also pulls heavy metals out of the body. So I'm going to be talking about those two things. Mental parasites, the subconscious alignment work that I do. I'm going to be talking about toxoplasma, and I'm going to talk about Wetiko, the parasite that, you know, a lot of people have in their spiritual body. And we're also going to talk about how to stay young, how to stay healthy, and how to get paid. We are going to be starting a new program next week. So everybody should go to my website, elevationtime.com, get on my email list, because it looks like next week we're going to have a program where you can get paid for mentioning my products, selling my products. You know, you can be an affiliate of my program. So a lot of folks have asked about that. So we finally have it in place. It looks like next week. And also next week, it looks like we're going to be doing a free webinar. So get on my email list so you can receive that information and know where I'm going to be. And there's a lot of programs that we're coming up with now to help people help themselves.
Now, before you go, telomeres. Explain to the audience what are telomeres. As you said, it's the founding of youth.
Yes, telomeres.
You can do it real quick.
The ends of your DNA have these little strings that hang down that are called telomeres. And when those telomeres begin to break off, you begin to age. Your body, your immune system breaks down, and you age prematurely. So when you repair those telomeres, it actually sends a message like a telephone to your body to become young, to grow young, and to pull out heavy metal toxins. So that's a very important thing, this subject on telomeres. And like I said, I've got these two products, the Platinum Life Elixir and the Platinum Life Elixir Triple Strength, that helps to tie those together. It's a deep...
We got to run out of here real quickly for a minute.